The medical industry is one big, giant, cosmic joke. Because the people in charge of the healing, which is what the medical industry claims to do, are in and of themselves sick. I am speaking about the doctors, the profession that receives the most respect, the most reverence, the most money out of all the other professions. These people are in and of themselves, the majority of them are sick themselves. They've got all kinds of physical ailments. I am speaking, I mean, should I say this? Alright, I'll say it. My father is a doctor, is a medical doctor. I hope he's not watching this video. Baba, if you're watching this video, I love you so much, okay? I hope he's not. But he's got diabetes, he's got blood pressure, okay? So, I'm speaking from the inner circle here. He's not the only one. I know of so many MDs, medical doctors. Baba, I love you, by the way. I love you. I hope you're not watching this. So, but what I'm saying is a lot of the MDs, they're sick. They're sick themselves. They've got all kinds of physical ailments. And there they are in charge of healing other sick people. Now, they have good intentions. Okay, I'll tell you about my dad. He is like the role model when it comes to helping people. He's just like, wow, unbelievable, unbelievable in the magnitude in which he goes out of his way to help people, all kinds of people. So there are good intentions. But the people in charge of these institutions, this institution we're talking about here is the medical institution, they take advantage of those good intentions and they train the doctors, they train the people, the healers of our society. They train them to be really good at prescribing pharmaceuticals, which are really symptom suppressors and yielders of a host of side effects that further exacerbate, am I even saying that word correctly? The issues here. They further exaggerate the issues at hand. And so, how do you expect people who are in and of themselves diseased to alleviate the disease of other people who are in and of themselves diseased? Now we're going into a whole inception type loophole. Okay, let's just not go too far into it here. Okay, so that's the joke, and it's a tragedy. It really is both a joke and a tragedy. The body itself can heal itself of virtually all diseases. Virtually. They're even saying now that if a person dry fasts long enough, they can heal like stubborn cancers and perhaps even possibly AIDS, HIV. The body is the greatest doctor, the greatest healer. But the problem is, if people started fasting, there would be nobody buying anything. The consumerist program would collapse. There would be nobody left to buy pharmaceuticals, and for that matter, there would be nobody left to buy food. You know? Because then people would fast, they would come back, heal themselves, and they'd realize they don't even need to eat that much. And then they'd more than likely start to be gravitated towards, growing their own food, etc., etc. Pretty soon, people would start to go into the breatharian path, and I mean, the whole consumerist program that has been installed into the 3D matrix would collapse. So the pharmaceuticals, the medical industry do not want us human beings to know that equipped we are in a vehicle equipped fully to take care of itself, to keep maintenance, to keep the vehicle in the most exquisite shape possible. It's an exquisite thing, this human body, and this healing mechanism within the planet. And because this is the earth vessel, so this is also the earth. You're in the earth, you're living, your consciousness is living in the earth. Your consciousness is the heaven, the vehicle is the earth, that's the heaven on earth. So if your vehicle is fully maximized, that's the earth, and then you're already heaven, because consciousness is heaven. It's light, so that's heaven on earth. So if you clean up the earth and you allow the earth to do its thing, then you're already living in heaven on earth. It's incredible. The healing power of the earth, which is the body, it's like it's mind-boggling. Mind-boggling because you could abuse your body for 20 years and you just go on a 20-day water fast and that boom, gone. All this abuse of 20 years in 20 days gone. This is why I say don't worry about what's happening on the planet, all the destruction, because if we just leave it alone, in a fraction of the amount of time that we've been abusing the earth, let's say we've been abusing the earth now for well, we've been abusing the earth for a long time, ever since we started farming and agriculture. But seriously abusing the earth, we've been doing it what? Since like the Industrial Revolution, let's say 200 years. In 20 years, everything can be reversed if we just leave it alone. In 20 years, just like in 20 years of abuse to your body, 20 days of water fast or dry fast, boom. If you do 20 days of dry fast, everything is healed. Forget everything will be healed, 100%. All the abuse, it's 100%. Okay? Everything you've been abusing for 20 years, boom, healed. Right? So it's amazing. It's amazing the healing power of the body. If we but get out of its way. And really, it's a big joke. You've got to get these doctors to heal themselves first, but the problem is they're so brainwashed by what they learn in school for 6 years, 8 years, that it is very, very, very difficult for them to think otherwise. Because the way they think they're going to heal themselves is via pharmaceuticals, which again suppress symptoms and exaggerate the problems that are already at hand through the side effects that result from that suppression. Because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So if that symptom is suppressed, its energy has to go somewhere else, creating a side effect, creating another problem, another ailment, because you're not dealing with the root cause of the issue. The whole system needs a reevaluation. You know, doctors only take a few courses on nutrition. They don't know anything about nutrition. Medical doctors, MDs, trained MDs that follow, that go by the book. I know there are MDs out there that are trying to make a difference. We need that. They're more conscious, more aware. Nevertheless, most MDs are clueless when it comes to nutrition. They're clueless when it comes to the role of food and what it plays and how it is absolutely foundational to human health. Less is more. Certain type of foods, fruits, vegetables, raw foods, those are going to contribute to keeping the human vessel in the healthiest way possible. Of course, always the number one contributor to optimal human health is not eating. Eating sparingly, eating as little as possible. But then if you're going to eat, there are certain foods that are going to keep your vessel in a healthier condition. The whole system needs an overhaul. Perhaps a collapse altogether. You know, Einstein says that you can't solve the problem from the same level at which the problem's created. You have to go to a whole nother level. So here we are. We've got these MDs going to school, learning, being brainwashed by pharmaceuticals, really, by If this problem exists, then that prescribe that medicine, prescribe that, they call it medicine, right? Prescribe that drug. Disease is an illusion. Disease does not exist. It doesn't exist. There's no such thing as disease. Harmony is the way of things. I'll quote Wim Hof when he says that our natural state is happiness, strength, and health. So our natural state is harmony. Everything else is a profanity, and it should be treated that way. It's everything else. So this is an exception to what is. Then we must really be doing something wrong to be in a state of disease. We must be really trying hard to be in a state of disease. I grew up thinking that the other way. I thought the natural state is misery, weakness, and disease and sickness. I actually legitimately thought that. I used to take Advil almost every day because I always had a headache. Uh, Up until maybe I was age 21. From again, remember I grew up. My father is an MD, so I virtually had a pill to every ailment. Okay, so I was an avid Advil popper. I popped Advil almost every day. And when I started to realize that, there is another way to go on about health, because I used to think that just being a human being is a miserable thing, period. Which, if you're always suffering, it seems that way. I was always suffering, physical and mental, because physical suffering will lead to mental suffering. I was always suffering. So Advil was an everyday thing for me. Everyday thing. Can you believe it? Everyday thing. My mom probably still now carries Advil in her purse. It's like that's just, you do that because you're always sick. You're always sick. So maybe up until I was age 21, 22, then when I started to realize, I started to read books about food and its effect on the health and exercise and etc., sunlight, blah blah. And that was when it began, when I started to decrease the amount of pills that I was taking, because I was taking a pill for everything. I had laxatives too. For a good 3 years, I was just taking laxatives because I would get constipated, but I didn't know that actually the reason why I was getting constipated because the foods that I was eating were promoting constipation. I was just taking laxative every day, and then I was also eating taking these like psyllium husk and eating these like fiber bars just to be able to take a shit, because I was eating all kinds of constipation promoting foods. And again, I was under the assumption that the human condition is a miserable condition. And so we would have to take these pills, we would have to do all these things just to be able to tolerate the human condition. It turns out the natural state of the human is happiness and strength and health. And anything else is a profanity. Anything else is an exception. So although most human beings are in deep physical suffering with so many physical ailments, most human beings alive are suffering physically. They're experiencing some serious physical ailments. I read somewhere that 90% of young people under the age of 30 now have lower back pain, like chronic lower back pain. That's insane. But of course, makes sense because you've got all the kids sitting through school 8 hours a day. Then they go to university, they sit more, they sit like 16 hours. The body begins to get seriously abused because you're drinking coffee, you're taking in all kinds of things. I mean, my university existence consisted of coffee, Adderall, pizza, hamburgers. By the time I was like 22, I was in terrible shape. I had aches, my knees were all messed up, my lower back was all messed up, aches all over my body. I'd sleep 10 hours a day, wake up still groggy and tired and exhausted, bags under my eyes. Oh God, miserable, 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 miserable. I gotta make a video just for the misery that I endured in my university years, the misery that everyone endures now in their college and university. Insanity, insanity. The brainwashing runs deep. It runs deep. Oh, you've got schizophrenia. Here are some pills that are gonna numb you. Serious mental illness, right? You know, schizophrenics are shamans. They're supposed to be our true healers. They're supposed to be our healers. The role of hospitals, the role of the medical industry ought to be limited to emergency situations and surgeries. And even surgeries can be minimized if you take the time to allow the body to heal itself. You see, I have gotten a wrist surgery here. See this scar over there? But because I was an idiot, because I didn't know about all this, I broke my wrist mountain biking, and like an idiot, 3 weeks later I was boxing. So then I damaged the wrist to a point where I needed surgery. Even then, now that I learned about the power of fasting, and dry fasting specifically, perhaps if I had dry fasted for a couple of weeks or something, or water fasted for maybe a month, probably would have healed itself. I wouldn't have needed to get the surgery. This was way back when I was still very naive to the whole thing. But yeah, perhaps. Nevertheless, if I wasn't an idiot, because you know the particular scaphoid, which is the bone I broke, it heals on its own. If I wasn't an idiot, started boxing with still pain 3 weeks later, it would have healed on its own. And that should be that ought to be the role of the medical industry, the role of the hospital. It's a limited role. It still plays a role, but it's limited. It's limited. Depression, Prozac, and all that shit. Deal with the root cause of the depression. I had to make. Okay, you know what? Next video I'm making it on depression. Next video I'm making it on depression. All right, I'm gonna make next video on depression. That's gonna be probably like a long rant, because you got to deal with the root cause of the depression. But since I'm making a separate video for it, I'm not gonna go into what the root cause of depression is. But deal with the root cause. God's sake, deal with the root cause of it, the root issue. Don't suppress the symptoms by giving somebody a pill that's gonna even give them more like side effects and numb them down and I mean, you take these pills long enough, you become dead. Just numb to life. Oh, the karma that some of these people are enduring, that are deliberately placing in these programs in the 3D matrix to keep people sick, to keep people diseased. Harmony and ease is the way of things. Our natural state is happiness, strength, and health. I haven't taken an Advil in what, maybe 5-6 years now? I can't remember. When was the last time I took a pill? When was the last time I popped a pill? I can't remember. I can't remember the last time I popped a pill. I can't remember the last time I popped a pill. The last time I was sick was actually recently. It was, I had a little fever for a day, and I was sick for maybe about 5 days. That's because I abused my body with food. I abused my body with food. But before then, I haven't gotten sick at all for 4 years. So yeah, last time I got sick before this recent was February 2015. Then I haven't gotten sick in between. You know, maybe a minor cold because again I abused my body with food and with, you know, no sleep and stuff. But sick, and then I got sick recently because I for 1 week I was just eating trash, garbage. I was, it was that whole period with Vipassana. When I went to Vipassana and I left early, I was waiting for my friend, etc., etc., and I was just like, I wasn't feeling good, and I was sleep deprived, and I was eating all kinds of, things that don't belong, and I got sick. I got sick. I wasn't getting sunshine. I got sick, right? But you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to. Of course, when I got sick, I didn't pop no pills. I just fasted it, and it healed. It healed pretty quickly. I mean, 5 days it was gone. I was back to total optimal health. Okay, the actual sickness itself lasted for maybe 2 or 3 days. 3 days. Trust the gift that Mother Gaia gave you, the planet Earth gave you, God gave you, Spirit gave you. It equipped it. The original design is perfect. It's perfect. It's exquisite. Exquisite. Take care of yourself. Be the change you want to see in the world. Look at other people. You might feel bad. You know, I all my relatives practically are sick. I feel terrible. I can't do anything about it. I could just be the change I want to see in the world, and then by you being the change, by you being the light, by you being vibrant, then people who are ready to heal themselves will will be inspired by you, and then you can help them, because they will come to you for help as opposed to you going there to them for help. Two different cases. Okay. Because you can't come on to people. People don't want to hear your bullshit. They only want to hear it if they see it in you, they see the vibrancy, they see the light, and then they seek it. Okay. Thank you to all the Patreons for your support. Thank you for the people who make the one-time donations. I got a generous one by one of you guys today. Thank you so much. Uh, so much generosity. I'm so appreciative. If you would like to hop in on the Patreon family, a couple of bucks a month, $24 a year. It's not a lot. It would help. Everything would help. We do this full time. Travel around. Come to the States, the UK, to Australia, all these places, and host retreats. And see you guys. It would be amazing. Instagram, sidemobile.com. Don't forget, go on your Instagram right now, follow. And until next time, may the force be with you.